What's up, guys? So I was actually doing a list on the top 5 best compact smartphones. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first phone is the Huawei P20 Lite. This used to be my daily driver last year, and I really love this phone. It's got an aluminum frame, a very nice design, feels really good in the hands. You do have an IPS LCD. Now it is a 5.8-inch display, and it is a 1080 by 2280 display, 432 for the PPI, and it gets very bright and it's very colorful. So you do have Android 9 on here with EMUI 9.0. Now this has the Kirin 659 processor, which is pretty good. I was able to play games on here, no problems. This phone actually didn't show any sign of slowing down even today. I still kind of use it today. You do have micro SD support up to 256 gigabytes. The base model is 32 gigs, 4 gigabytes of RAM. You do get a 16 megapixel camera and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. The cameras on here are pretty interesting because it takes actually some really good photos for a $200 phone. I was really impressed. The camera is underrated, and if you put Gcam on it, you get even better pictures, which is really amazing. You have a 16 megapixel selfie camera along with a 1080p video recording, and that is really good as well. This does keep the headphone jack. You do have the fingerprint scanner on the back with USB type C. So you have, the only weak part about this phone is the 3000 milliamp battery. The 3000 milliamp battery will get you through like a day, but I wouldn't even say really that, because I find myself constantly putting this phone on the charger. But you do have that fast charging at 18 watts, which is really nice. Now next is the Google Pixel 3a. So this is a really nice phone. The screen is even smaller on this one. It's a 5.6-inch display. So they're asking $350 on Amazon, which I think is pretty fair. Links are always in the description. So this is a nice phone. It's got a plastic build, but still feels pretty premium. It's kind of got a heavy feel to it as well. It's got an OLED display, like I said, 5.6 inches. It's a full 1080p, 441 for the PPI. Very nice, always on display. So if you like small phones, this is something to definitely consider. It does have Android 10 on it as well. The Snapdragon 670 is more than capable of playing games on medium settings, no problem. With the Adreno 615, you do not have expandable storage, but you do have 64 gigabytes of storage and 4 gigs of RAM. But you're really buying this phone for the camera, and I think the display size at 12.2 megapixels. This takes some amazing photos. I was very impressed with the photos. Took some of the best photos up there with the iPhone 11. 8 megapixel selfie camera, and you have some very loud stereo speakers. Extremely nice. They keep the headphone jack, which is a plus. You have the fingerprint scanner on the back, USB type C, a 3000 milliamp battery, which will get you through a day with that stock Android. I didn't have any problems with that, along with 18-watt fast charging. So next is the Samsung Galaxy S10e. I'm seeing this phone on Amazon renewed for around $500 to $400, which is very nice. So this phone is pretty premium. Actually, it's got a front glass back design, aluminum frame, along with a 5.8-inch 1080p display. It is a dynamic AMOLED display, and it actually is IP68 dust and water resistant. It's an always on display. Android 9 with the One UI. You also have the Snapdragon 855, so one of the latest processors. Used to be the latest processor, but you also have the Adreno 640, so this is a powerhouse. You can definitely game on high settings on here. Very fast phone. You do have micro SD support up to 1 terabyte, along with 128 gigabytes of storage and a 6 gigabytes of RAM. So that's very nice. You have very good cameras on here as well, just as good as the Galaxy S10. A dual camera setup, 12 megapixel wide and a 16 megapixel ultra wide. So it is missing that depth sensor, but I think most people really just care about the ultra wide as a secondary camera anyway. But you do have that selfie camera at 10 megapixels, and you do have very nice stereo speakers. They even keep the headphone jack with this guy, which is really awesome as well. So Bluetooth 5.0, NFC. It's basically a flagship, mini flagship version of the S10. USB type C as well. Fingerprint scanner is mounted on the side, and you do have a 3100 milliamp battery along with fast charging at 15 watts with wireless charging at 15 watts. Next is the LG G7. So I know you guys are tired of me talking about this phone. I just really love this phone. I use this as my dedicated gaming phone, mostly because of the screen size at 6.1 inches. I think it's perfect for my hands. I really like, so I don't feel like I'm stretching everywhere. But you can pick this up for around 200 bucks. So it's got a premium design, front glass back, aluminum frame. It's IP68. You do have a 6.1 inch 1440p display. That's also another thing. 1440p display on a 6.1 inch display looks gorgeous, and this has a very high pixel density of 564. So that is very awesome. It's an always on display, even though it's an IPS, which is again very awesome. Android 9.0 along with the Snapdragon 845 and the Adreno 630. You can play everything on high: Fortnite, PUBG, whatever. You do have SD support up to 1 terabyte along with 64 gigabytes of storage and 4 gigabytes of RAM. So this has very capable cameras as well. Very nice 16 megapixel cameras. One is a ultra wide, and it's very nice. Shoots great photos. You can take even better photos again with Gcam, an 8 megapixel selfie camera. You do only have one single firing speaker, but it's a nice speaker, very good quality, along with a headphone jack. So you have NFC on board, USB Type-C, fingerprint scanner on the back, along with a 3000 milliamp battery with 18 watt fast charging with wireless charging as well. So I really love this phone for the form factor and how it feels in the hand. Now last is the iPhone SE. I really love this phone because it's the smallest phone on the list. So if you're really trying to find a small compact phone, then this is going to be the phone to look at 4 inches, 640 by 1136. You still have a nice design that I still actually really like. I love this iPhone 4-ish design. So you do have iOS 13, which is kind of crazy for an iPhone SE that came out in 2016. So that's really nice. You have the latest version. You also have, the Apple A9 chip is decent, and this phone, from what I've seen, hasn't really been slowing down that much with iOS 13. No SD support. The base model for this is 16 gigs and 2 gigabytes of RAM. I've seen this phone online for around $124 to $100 even. You get a 12 megapixel camera, which from what I'm seeing, these days is decent. It's not anything too crazy. And good lighting, you'll be able to take a little decent photo. You keep the headphone jack with this one. You have NFC, but of course Apple Pay only. Fingerprint scanner, and this is just a nice phone if you want a super small phone. So thanks for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one.